Hey guys, hope everything's going well. You guys know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Also, if you're interested in my finance topics, I have a new channel, AIH Finance. Just type it in on YouTube. Alrighty, so today I want to talk about this one topic that one of my, I believe, subscribers left yesterday, or a person that watched my video. And this individual said, "Why don't you do a video when the market bottoms? And what cards you plan to hold for 20 years?" I wouldn't say 20 years that I would look at. I want to look at cards that maybe I'd hold at least for 5 years. But when the market bottoms, what am I looking for? I'm looking for an extreme change in sentiment. Last year, everybody was positive, right? And now we're starting to see more people become skeptical. Not completely hardcore bearish, but I want to see the pendulum swing to the all the way to the extreme. And I don't think that's going to happen probably for the next few years. But once you see the pendulum swing to that extreme, that's one of the factors I'm looking for. I'm looking for also, like I said, stock market going down. I'm looking for the nasty inflation we have to turn into deflation and a few other factors. And I'll probably do more videos on that. But when that moment happens, or when I see prices plummet to a level that's appropriate, what I will do is I'm going to look at cards that I want to get for my collection and also from an investment perspective. Here are cards that I want to look at my personal collection, and one of them, even though they don't seem too expensive now, it's the 1997 Bowman Best Atomic Refractor Dennis Rodman card. I see a few of these floating around eBay. I always told you that I liked the Bulls growing up, and that's one of the nicer looking cards of Dennis Rodman that I would definitely like in my personal collection. Will I make too much money off of it? No. Once again, that is for my own collection. Now, the second card in my collection that I'd like to hold for a longer period of time is the Fleer 1986 Michael Jordan card. And I could have bought it a few years ago. I just had reservations that the population size was too high. But then getting back into the hobby, I'm like, I need to get it. By that time, the prices had just skyrocketed. So I want to wait. I'm looking maybe on the low end for my personal collection. Now, for cards that I want to invest in, speculate in, some of the cards that I'm looking at is once again that Fleer 86 card, but this time I want to look at it in a higher grade. And I like what I'm seeing thus far, even though prices are going down. I'm saying I like that price action because I want to buy these cards on the cheap. I remember maybe 5, 6 years ago, the PSA 9, it was substantially lower. Right now, it's $22,000 according to Card Ladder. And if you get this under $10,000, I would really like it. And preferably, I'd like it a little lower than that. And if that happens, I want to definitely invest in that card. Even though the population size seems to be a bit high, it is definitely on my radar. Now, speaking of the Fleer 86, I saw on Card Ladder this morning a PSA 10 has gone all the way down to $240,000. I'm just basing on Card Ladder's data. And I'm not sure where that card sold, but this is just a free version that I'm looking at. But that's quite interesting. I mean, where are the pumpers, man? It went from 700 some $1,000 last year at the peak. Now it's back to $240,000. And is it going to go under $200,000 in the coming months ahead when the economy reopens? That was a card everyone or people wanted to go to during the pandemic, during the stimulus time. Now, as we slowly get out of this, what's going to happen to those prices? I don't think it's going to go to pre-pandemic levels. I don't think the PSA 10 is going to go to $30,000. I just don't see that. But I am definitely keeping an eye out for that. That is out of my price range right now. Maybe unless I make tons of money in the next few years in the stock market, then am I only going to buy that card. Second card that I'm looking at for investment purposes when the market bottoms is the 1993 SP number 279, the foil Derek Jeter card. Derek Jeter, the captain. I really liked, enjoy watching him. Everyone else admired and respected him, the way that he played the game. And also, he won 5 rings, the captain. So why not? And that card, every time I saw the market take a hit, it went to about $3,300. This was 2018, 2020-ish, around that range. If you see that card in that area, I want to buy. And there was a blow off top last year about $27,000. Right now, it's hovering maybe around $8,000 to $11,000. I haven't checked recent comps, but right now there's no baseball season, so it's taken a hit. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a slight run up if there's a baseball season and towards the World Series, and then you have that same cycle playing out again. But ultimately, if everything comes crumbling down, that is one card that I am looking out for. The next card that I want to hold for a long period of time, right now, I don't want to touch at all. I told you I was selling a bunch of these. I think I have the regular one, but I don't have the Chrome version, and that's the 2000 236 Tom Brady Chrome. And I want to look at potentially a PSA 8. I like just buying the PSA 8s. That's what I did a few years ago. They were affordable at that time. And right now, since he's retired, the prices have slightly come down. I think it peaked at about $2,300 and then went to about maybe $1,600. It fluctuates, but that's where Tom Brady cards are. Now, the thing about Tom Brady, there's rumblings that if he gets traded, his rights get traded, and he goes to a contender like San Francisco, Tom Brady may unretire. Those are the rumblings I'm getting. It seems that Brady was ticked off at Bruce Arians regarding the Antonio Brown saga. And my opinion is if Antonio Brown were playing that game against the Rams, you would probably see the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl again this year. But we know how that saga went out. I think Bruce Arians should have been a little more cautious in dealing with AB. If you know a guy acts like that, just let him do his thing and then, okay, get him for the playoffs. That's what I would have done. And yeah, regardless. So if Brady comes back, okay, his prices could potentially have another run up if he exceeds expectations. But next few years, I don't see him playing, obviously. And that's a card that's on my radar. I was buying all the regulars. I have one that's locked up. And I just want the Chrome one because the Chrome one probably will hold more value. Chrome Refractor is out of my price range. Even if there's a downturn, I don't think I'll be able to afford those Chrome Refractors. Before the pandemic, the PSA 7 was going for about, the Chrome Refractor was going for about $7,000. I wish I bought that. I thought it's crazy to pay $7,000, but he won a Super Bowl and he had the pandemic and that card went like crazy. So yeah, that's on my list as well. And I am looking at other individuals as well. I am potentially looking at some of these high flyers as well. I have talked about Patrick Mahomes. Now, I bought Patrick Mahomes at about $100 and when Optic Hollow PSA 10, his 2017 card, sold at about $3,800. Now, I expect a downturn even if he exceeds expectations in the coming years, and I believe cards like that will be affordable again. Or not affordable, it will be much cheaper than what I sold it at, 3,800 bucks. So, yes, I have talked about Patrick Mahomes and I've given mixed takes on him, but that is definitely on my radar as well. Quarterbacks on my list, Josh Allen, the way that he's performed is pretty well as indeed. So I would like to definitely look into that. Not right now, like I said, but I expect Mahomes, Allen, even with the salary cap issue, they still will be dominant in the league. Joe Burrow, that is one individual that I'm looking at as well down the road. But the issue is his offensive line. That did not look encouraging how the offensive line got him sacked all the time. And just him getting battered, and they almost pulled it off, by the way. And that's just quite amazing. But that is an individual that I would like to potentially speculate in the next few years. But the caveat is he needs to be in a better system with the offensive line, or he needs to go to a team that will take care of him. And I think Carson Palmer said that, you know, he, I think he hinted at it, he should just leave because Cincinnati didn't take care of Palmer that well. And then I think he left to another team. Yeah, so those are just a few of the players that are on my radar. One other uh, card or cards that I'm looking at next few years. It's the 51 or 52 mantle, obviously the lower grade cards. And those are the cards that I would just hold on to for a very long time. And also the Hank Aaron rookie card on the lower grade scale. I want to hold those cards because individuals, this is from a speculative perspective, will always go to these guys. They're iconic figures of their sports, and collectors, investors, speculators will go to them no matter what. I don't have to worry about an injury for these guys that are retired. Yes, I may have to be concerned about maybe a Josh Allen or a Burrow or a Mahomes, but putting those players aside, those are my speculative risk. But for the other safer guys, those guys like the Brady, the Jordan, etc., people will always flock to them. So therefore, I want to speculate in those. But that is once again when the market bottoms, and I'm talking about all this economic news on my other channel, and I'm going to explain also on that channel why I expect downturn in the next few years, and I've hinted at that in some of my videos here as well. Anyways, guys, let me know what sports cards that are on your buy list for the next 20 years when the market bottoms, or 10 years, 5 years, however long. And the thing about collectibles is to hold it for a long term, speculate for a long term. There wasn't any of this flipping game. I mean, there was flipping, but not to this extent. There was no YouTube, there was no Instagram. The pumpers couldn't use these platforms, Facebook, they couldn't use these platforms to influence prices in an illiquid market. And eventually, market forces will come into play in the next few years. Liquidity will dry up. Some of these cards will take even more of a beating once we normalize interest rates and once the economy, you know, has more issues. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below, guys. Thanks. Bye.